Hello. So
Hello,
yeah.
hello.
Sorry about the banner. We are just still preparing some stuff like tweeting. So please come and join us if you're there and join us for this session. Join us in the chat. And I think we will officially start in a few minutes because we want people to come in. We have 4 people I can see from from Tweet. We're just you can see us getting ready, but it's fine. So Lace, how are you today?
Yes, I am good. I'm just out of the PyData Amsterdam session today, so I am very, very good.
Yeah. Also, we have Dani joining us today.
Hello.
Yeah. So Dani would be our guest today. So we'll interview her in a bit after we have talked about what's new in the community. So let's tell us about PyData Amsterdam. Do you like it? What? Yeah, because this is the first time they do this PyData festival that is online, the whole week event. There's a lot of things. So I know you
Yes.
attended as an attendee. So how does it go? Do you like it?
Yes. So I heard as well there was the first time that they were doing the festival thing. So it's a week long event, and then there is the sprints really early in the morning that have a separate ticket. Then really early in the morning for me is it starts at 8 a.m. Uh, and then at 12 they have like a little bit of a session with a Q&A, like an interview, so you can talk to the people that gave sprints. Then at 12, half 12, there is the prepping for the Saturday sprint section that is going to be on Panda. So that's the big one. That's the one we're all building expectations for. Then at 12, I think, or half 12, there is an interview. There was a really cool interview session yesterday with our lovely host, Chuck, talking about inclusivity and diversity in the tech community. And it was really interesting. I thought that the time for the interview was a little bit short because there was, 5 of you guys, right?
There is no, actually, there's 3 panelists, and there are 2 hosts. But yeah, it's a bit short. I think usually panel session would be 45 minutes. But anyway, do you enjoy other talks?
Yes, the talks are amazing. The Open API one with Sebastian was unbelievable. The keynote speaker was really good as well. The sprints have been amazing. Like they did a scikit-learn opening session today, and it was really, really, really good. Like it's been really cool. And I also love the format because in days that everyone is doing conferences online, and you have if you had an entire day of talks, I don't think I would be able to just sit down and watch it. But the fact that it's in sections, then you can just plan your day around it. It's quite cool.
Yeah. So Danny, have you joined any sprints? I think you have, because you have been to so many conferences.
No, I haven't, surprisingly. I've done a part of it at PyCon UK, the last day sprint, if that counts. But
yeah, that counts, of course.
okay, because I wasn't doing much work. I was mostly looking at things and saying, I don't get it. And people were just writing more documentation about it. So I don't know if that's me saying, I don't watch this on the screen counts really as useful thing to do.
I love people don't get it in the sprints. That means that you need to do something about the documentation, which is good. And okay, so let's go through what we have find out mainly on Twitter this week that's related to Python. So I will try to share my screen. Let's see if it's not this one, is it? Yeah, I'm still new to this interface, and I'm not very good at it. And let's see. Yep, we have that, and you can see my Twitter there. And you see that actually, if I make it bigger, if I could, yes. So Paul is one of the co-developers of Python, also the maintainer of Dayshitil, and he tweeted about migrating away from PyTC. So PyTC is a library used for time zones. Mm-hmm. So I think it's kind of getting a bit old, and I don't know whether it's still there, because I know a lot of for example, Django, it's very, I think some of the libraries that they use are PyTC. So there's some noises there. Yeah, sorry about that.
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Yeah. So Danny, do you need to check your equipment or something, you could do that. Okay, that's good. Yeah, and so if you maybe you're using PyTC, maybe that's something that you should pay attention. That I don't know whether they would still be doing it, or they want to migrate everything to use digital time zone or something like that. I don't know. So, but yeah, this is something that I found out. And the other thing is that we have PyData Manchester. Yay! So there's a virtual meetup this month on the 23rd at 6 p.m. UK time, obviously. So if you're interested in using biology with data science, when biology with data science, so it's because PyData is about machine learning and data science, and I think and the talks would be about biology research, I guess. So join them if you want.
Super cool.
Yeah,
that sounds super cool.
Yeah, I think Dani also joined some PyData events. Is it? Have you joined any? Yeah.
Yes, PyData London mostly.
Oh, London, yeah, and also maybe you can start one in Midwest as well.
We can start one in Nottingham as soon as the madness gets over, because I don't know. I just moved in here from Birmingham and I don't know the local tech community, so it will be interesting to have one in the Midlands, the PyData Midlands.
Yeah, maybe your friend Glenn is also active in the community. He can start one in Birmingham. You can start one in Manchester. You can work together. Okay, so another thing is, this is from another core developer. This is Pablo, actually, that he's one of the core developer of C Python, and he just merged this pull request, actually merged this branch. I think it's a longer project that remove all the old parser code. So you may wonder why there's in C Python they have removed the old parser and make a new parser. There's actually, I found someone post a Medium post, which is super nice here. That is why they want a PEG parser. And I think this is quite low level stuff. But if you're interested in those kind of stuff, you can have a look. And this tweet is actually, if you go to my Twitter, you'll see that I've liked it. So you can find it, or you can just follow Pablo. This is his handle there. I hope it's big enough for you to see. Yeah, so you can follow him as well. So
you got me curious, and you got me curious now, and what's the usability of getting rid of the old parsers?
Yeah, now I want to know. Yeah. So, Lace, what's this about?
Perfect. So I was just going around on DevTo, and I found this super cool dude that decided to write a tutorials DB in Python and just make a website, deploy a website on it. He is looking for, the idea is super interesting, because sometimes it's kind of hard to embed your tutorials on Google, and then it's hard to find them as well. So his idea was to make a platform, a database platform, with links for tutorials, and it's completely open source. So he's not only starting a project because, he wants to learn how to do that stuff better, but he's also helping the community at spreading dev tutorials around. And if you open the DevTo post, you're gonna see that there is a little bit more of the informations on what it's possible for you to do on the website, and how to use it, and how to find the right tutorials, and how to embed your tutorials there as well. So it's quite interesting.
I'm amazed by all these tags. So there's so many topics you could click on to see. Yeah.
Yes, and we love tutorials, don't we?
Yeah. Oh, and there's a Patreon, so you can support them if you like it. Okay, cool. Yes. That's nice. Yeah, I should maybe try to think of how to integrate a Patreon kind of in some of my projects as well, if I have one. That is not right now, but okay. So without further ado, I think it's time for the interview with Dani, and I will go back to the view of all of us. And so Dani, I just briefly introduce you to the audience, but I think we want to know more about you. So maybe you could give us a self-introduction. do you work? You know, a little bit about your work and maybe a little bit about what you do for the Python community.
Okay, first of all, thank you for inviting me to talk with you. It's nice to see you again. And
Yeah.
nice to meet you, Laís.
Thank you.
So, my name is Dani. As you've read, I'm a data scientist for a startup in Birmingham. The startup is called Grid Edge. And my daily job includes using machine learning techniques to identify outliers in time series data. If you remember, Joke, in one of my presentations, I used similar techniques to find outliers in seismic waves in fast train analysis. So it's something similar, but this time it's in time series. And in time series, clustering is a little bit more tricky. So if you want me to start explaining how different it is, just book a day off. When I don't work, I knit. And when I don't knit, I organize the Django Girls workshop in Birmingham. And I also co-organize Python West Midlands meetup along with Zeth Green.
Yeah.
He's the brains behind it. I just not in agreement pretty much. I don't want to take credit for that.
Yeah, actually, like Danny's talk is really awesome. It's like something about those waves that's like in engineering. I was like, what? I was like, I can't comprehend what she was talking about. It's too too deep. You know, you need the knowledge to know. But I'm sure Danny can like very patiently explain to you like with if it's like a longer time, then she could explain that to you if you really want.
I can give you the headline. It's when the train moves on the train line, it vibrates the soil.
Yeah.
When the train moves really fast, the vibration becomes, more risky for the material. So the soil can fail and accidents can happen. So what you want is to adjust the quality of the soil to accommodate the vibration.
Yeah, that's very important as well. It's like also for safety, like without this knowledge, we'll be like, oh, the trains won't work, you can't go to work, you can't travel. So yeah, like maybe Danny, you can send me the link of the talk if it's recorded, if it's somewhere in YouTube or something. Send me the link. I will put it in the description for people to see. And so also I want to know when you start Python and why do you start Python?
It goes 14 years back.
Wow.
But it wasn't that serious. So I'll tell you the whole story. I learned Python in 2006, a little bit of Python, like how to write a basic script, how to do basic calculus in Python. I was studying civil engineering at the time. And I learned Fortran at uni, but you know how the conversations happen outside the class, and the School of Computer Engineers was next door. So they were all talking about Python is the language of the future. And I thought that I'll try this Python thing that you are talking about. And I found that it was very easy to plot graphs and to use off-the-shelf libraries like NumPy. Very easy. I come from a Fortran, my first language is Fortran, so you understand that moving it was my first my first properly learned object-oriented language. I've done a little bit of C++ as well, so it was like, wow, objects, yeah, that's how it works. And I wrote a small script about calculating the capacity of reinforced concrete beam, the bearing capacity of a reinforced concrete beam in 2006, and then I forgot everything about Python.
But it's so cool, like you mentioned NumPy, and because NumPy used Fortran and you are already written in Fortran, like you already write Fortran, that's so cool. I think that's really cool. Yeah,
it's one of the things that you can't escape, because you learn Fortran and then you hear that people saying that, oh, Fortran is not very used now, you should learn this and that, and you get recommendations, and then you see on the internet, I don't remember in which states in the US, they were desperately looking for COBOL developers. So I was like, maybe we should start treating languages as tools for our projects rather than saying, oh, this is better and this is worse. Maybe it's...
Yeah, luckily you choose Python over COBOL. That's a good move.
I have a friend called Jim Secon that he gives a talk about tool shaming and why we shouldn't say that. And I was thinking that Jim was right. I'd best tell him. Then I started working in Python again in 2008 and doing a little bit of beautiful soup and web scraping stuff and a little bit of refactoring and all that. And I got really serious with Python in 2011, and I was writing my master's dissertation. And I had to do a literature review on geosynthetics, which is plastic that goes in soil. And I thought, because there were a lot of papers and a lot of information that wasn't relevant, I used beautiful soup to scrape through all the papers and make my vectorize all the words that I needed for a matrix. So that
so
was
you're
it.
doing NLP before everybody do NLP. That's so cool.
I called it lazy Google.
I think like most of the brilliant ideas start with people trying to be lazy, so that's good. And so yeah, like how do you find the Python community? You must love it because you're doing Django Girl Birmingham. You're organizing that, and also you're organizing Python Midwest with Seth. So maybe you have plans for Nottingham. I don't know. So how do you find the Python community?
I will start with a confession on that to give you a little bit of a background. I'm very, very bad at small talk. I can't do small talk. So within the Python community, we'll have a common interest, the use of Python. So it's very easy for me to talk to people and make friends. And I can ask questions like, what are you working on? Or have you used a certain library? What are your thoughts? And it's pretty nice that you start with a common interest and then you start meeting the person that shares his or her or their knowledge with you. So I find it very refreshing because you just get to talk to people with which you couldn't talk at the pub or anything, and they're all wonderful people. And I love the inclusivity of the community, and also that there are steps that are taken to increase it. And it's a constant improvement. And also I like that there is a certain element of accountability because I've worked in places where there was the blame culture, but in the Python community, we are accountable. If there is a technical mistake or a faux pas, other members of the community help you understand what went wrong. They help you fix what happened. And this practice makes better developers and better people, and that's what we need to move forward, right?
Yeah, so about that, actually, I have a funny story to tell. So, like, I recently released my my Python client for work, and then when we were like releasing last Friday, it was like super stressful because like it's Friday, like have quite late in the evening. Like I was working with a colleague to release it, and suddenly the Travis broke all the bills, and I was like, what happened? And looking at it, is like the PyEnv failed, and the error message that was given is super strange because when we Google it, it's just like, well, it's Python activate, right? It's not Pastron activate. So it's like, it looks like a troll. It seems like almost like somebody put in a trolling, like put in some mistake in the source code. So I was like, what happened? And I go to virtual env's GitHub, and I found that actually the core developer made a mistake of spelling it wrong. I think it's an autocorrection or something. But it spells like Pastron activation or something. It's funny. It's just look funny. It's almost like trolling. So it's funny. And I was like, what? And everybody was just like, oh, it's broken. How to fix that? And all this stuff. And people have workarounds. So just downgrade it. It'll be fine. Just roll back and all this. And then like after like maybe an hour of panic, it got resolved. Like they push a correction immediately. They immediately patch it. So it's like you said, Python is like people are very accountable. They like, because it's the open source is so good that people are like people make mistake. Like I understand it's a big mistake to make, but still, people are not really pointing fingers or something. It's just like, oh, how can we solve this? How can we let's roll back? And then the developer was like, oh, sorry. I was like, it's a Friday evening and I made a mistake when I released it. And people were just like, yeah, so it's solved now. Yeah, it's fine. And I think the Python community is lovely. Like you said, it's very good. And how do you find going to the conference? I know you go to PyCon UK like every year almost. So how do you find that?
Well, it's my favorite conference.
Yeah, and remember the pub that is
the pub. Yes,
I remember you and your friend are like really happy, like in the
Glenn.
pub. Yeah, Glenn.
Yeah,
He's
so
super hyper.
he's the person that got me into this, Glenn Davis, that is.
Yeah.
And he said, when I moved back to Birmingham from Oxford in 2017, Glenn was like, hey, you write Python, right? I was like, yeah, let's go to this conference. And you need a holiday anyway. I was like, okay. And that was it. And we went to PyCon UK. And since then, it became like a family tradition for Glenn and myself. We're taking the family holiday. We're going to PyCon UK. The other family tradition is Die Hard at Christmas. So we have a lot of family in inverted commas
Yeah.
traditions. And going to PyCon UK every year is one of them. And I also like PyCon UK because you can make new friends. You can learn from the experts. The lineup is amazing every time. It is very inclusive and it has a code of conduct. And the code of conduct is displayed clearly. And I've been to many events and I've been to events that didn't have a code of conduct. Don't do
Yeah.
that. Just
Yeah.
make sure that whichever event you go has a code of conduct and it's clearly displayed. And if it doesn't, ask for it because people sometimes don't know. And I
Yeah.
mean, for our events, for PyCon, for Python West Midlands, we copy and paste the code of conduct from the Python Software Foundation, and we say, follow these guidelines. So as long as there is a code of conduct somewhere, even if you haven't written it, it helps massively. It helps people feel safe, and PyCon UK are really good at it.
Yeah. I think that code of conduct is very important. And what I like about Mozilla Festival, because like I joined it last year in London, and they have the short version of it printed on your badge. So there's no excuse of like I don't know about a code of conduct because like you're wearing it all day, so it's impossible that you say like, oh, I don't know about a code of conduct. No, you know that it's there because it's printed on your badge. So yeah, so I think that's a very good point there. That
Yes.
a code of conduct is important because yeah, otherwise like things bad could happen. And yeah, but my God, UK, I love it too. I love it too. And I remember like I don't know whether it's the time that we first met there. And I know that, you know, I saw you and Glenn together. Like you two are like, you know, it's like you two are like best. Like, is it BFF or something like best
Yeah,
friend?
pretty much.
Yeah. So I know that. Can I tell this joke? Like, because a lot of people mistaken that you two are couples, but actually,
Yes.
like you're just like more like brother and sister. I would say. Yeah. Yeah, so that's super cool. And okay, let's talk about maybe diversity. So because we talk a little bit about, you know, diversity in the community and also in conferences. So like as an organizer, do you think like is anything that, you know, people could overlook and, you know, and also like, and it could be bad. Like I think code of conduct we mentioned that. Like is there anything else or like anything to add on the code of conduct thing that you want to say about?
There are some things that can get easily overlooked, as you've said, and
Yeah.
I am guilty of having used the term guys when I was talking to a diverse audience. I'm not going to go into details because I don't want to give any justification of, oh, yes, but this has happened. No, it's wrong. Don't do it. And as soon as I said the word, I was like, no. And immediately I said, I'm sorry, this is wrong. You are not all men. So can I reset the introduction and say, hello, people? And everyone laughed and it was okay. But at the same time, it's very easy to make a mistake. And and in some events it's explicitly encouraged by the organizer to not use the word guys, and
Yeah.
it's fine. And as I said before, the community is a wonderful place to get honest feedback. So if something is overlooked, then there is always a very, very kind person to point out what could have gone better. And sometimes they make recommendations. So there are people that solve your problem for you, and they're like, oh, here's the problem, but here's the fix. Like you said with the library, it's the same with code of conduct. And
Yeah.
as long as we try to make things better and encourage open communication channels and feedback, then we can learn from our previous experience and create more inclusive events. So yeah, it's again the whole feedback thing that the Python community has been absolutely fantastic with.
Yeah. So yeah, I think a lot of things is like as people organize conference, especially now, people are trying new formats, going virtual, going online. I think having this channel of people could help to like feedback and what to improve is very important. And I think it's also another important thing is like to allow mistake to happen, because now is a time that a lot of conference, like people still figuring out how to do it. And like imagine there's so many things in a conference, like you have talks, you have panel session, like Lace mentioned, we have virtual panel session in PyData Amsterdam, and other things like workshops. How could a workshop run? How could a sprint be organized, and all this stuff? And people are still figuring it out. So if you go to an event and it's like, oh, it's not that good, but like please be patient, and please be kind, and let the organizer know in a very constructive way that what could be improved, because people are still figuring it out. And like I think because online format got another advantage, that if people there's people that travel is not convenience for them. So I would actually want to see, of course I want to see the physical conference come back like next year if we are back to a normal world, but also maybe some conference can stay online just for people who can't travel to attend. So it's really a good time for people to experiment, and if you want to contribute, to give positive like constructive feedback, so please do so. And even if things doesn't go so well, just be patient. And yeah, I think.
I have a question now then, based on what you're saying. It's actually a question for the both of you. In your opinion, how does the lockdown situation influences on the whole building community diversity and building community engagement in general? Does it help? Do you think it's harder? Do you think people are more impatient? Do you think there's more people on the meetups? How do you guys read? Sorry, the guy's word, you see? I'm sorry.
Influenced by the American TV, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you ladies think that
How do you beautiful people think? Yes. I will let Dani talk about this first.
Oh, yeah. I think that it's in some events, and I'm going to talk about Django Girls because that's the only experience I have. It increased diversity a little bit because people couldn't travel, and there were people that were attending the event from all over the world. So they couldn't come to Birmingham and do the event otherwise. So with our workshop, it was very, very helpful. So I'm very tempted to run another online event alongside with the face-to-face one, obviously. But I have to think, and I'm not alone in Django Girls. I have to ask the committee and write down what happened in our online event, because I haven't done it yet. I was quite busy with other stuff. So we need to do a little bit of reflection on how this increases diversity and it reduces the travel costs for people. But again, this is only the community events are very diverse, and I have a lot of different formats. So I'm just explaining to you only my experience, so it's not very fair to generalize from that, if that's okay.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah, actually, I've joined that event, and I think it's actually I'm quite surprised that there are some really engaging attendees that they're like, I'm quite surprised, because sometimes even in physical events, people could be not so engaging. They could be playing with their phones, they could be just not talking to anybody. But still, well, for online, you would think that always they could just like like Zoom, you can just like switch off your camera and run away. But no, like it also reflects like people, if they really like engage in the activity, they will be really there, because they have to put extra effort. They can easily run away, but they don't. So that's good. And also for diversity, I think online event, like I said, you could actually get people opportunity to attend things that they could, maybe it's difficult for them to attend. Maybe they could, because let's say if they have families that they have to stay with them, so they can't travel for a conference, or if they have to spend the evening at home and it's difficult, because now it's like even the online conference, they extend the time. So usually it's like more or less like 9 to 5 at some hotel or something, that's how usually conference work. And now it would be like, because we are doing online, we can cover more time. We could be more flexible, so we can be like late start, start at 8 because of the time zone, I know, but like it start very early, and it could extend into the evening. So I think there's more effort for the organizers side, but at the same time, it's more flexible for people if they have kids. Maybe they need to only attend if it's like late in the evening when the kids go to bed, or if their partner have time to take care of the kids so they can take a break, or things like that. So so I think it kind of opened a lot of doors for a lot of people. There's more options for them to attend. So even like, because we have like conference everywhere globally, so even if you, for example, I can't, normal time, I can't go to conference because I have to work, I have my family to take care of, you could just go for a talk in the middle of the night for an event in maybe in North America or something like that. So I think it's really opened new imagination for organizers as well to how to organize the event, to promote diversity, to be more convenience for everybody to join. And I think the next step would be how to make the internet connection more accessible, because I know that there are lots of places in the countries that the internet is not as good. Then I think the only hurdle they have to to overcome is to the online capability. So that's the thing that I keep thinking a lot recently. I always think about how to make things better, but I'm like, maybe it's good news for us, but not good news for people, living in a place that internet is a luxury for them. So we still can't reach them. So yeah.
And it's an obstacle for inclusivity as well, because we want to have more, like we're trying right now to get a speaker from South Botswana, right beside South Africa. And she really wants, like, she has an amazing project with a woman in machine learning and data science in Botswana, and she's an amazing community engaged person, but she can't join us to give us a talk because her broadband is just too bad. So we're trying to see if we can do like maybe phone call
or
or
recordings, like
yes.
she can mail you the recordings, you can join in chat if she got internet, but it's not crucial. And I think we still have to figure out a way for both speaker and participant. What if internet for them is is not a thing that they could easily get? So how we can work around that to include everybody, literally everybody. And also again, like other accessibility, maybe we need to have more captions for people who maybe have a problem with hearing, and maybe like how about people with other needs, that how can we help them? Because I have a feedback from my workshop, my online workshop, that one of the attendee got dyslexic, like problem reading lots of text. So like, our thing is too wordy for that person, and we have like, actually that's true, maybe we need to have different formats of workshop that's suitable for different people. So so let's go back to Dani. Because, so I want to ask like Dani that so what things like in all the conferences there have been like that you have, that's a good idea, I want to do that in my event. So is there any example for that?
I want to do it in my event. It's the crash.
What?
The crash where they put they have babysitters and professionals.
Yes.
Daycare.
Yes. They have free daycare. PyData has it. The conference. EMF has it. The camping electromagnetic field. PyCon UK has it. So you can have young parents leave their kids and attend the conference, and it minimizes the 30-year-old void, because you see people that in the 30s, when people are starting, usually the demographic, having babies, you see them disappearing from conferences. And because they have to take care of their kids. And having a crash there, it increases the diversity. You can have single mothers attend the conference, and it's a very simple solution that, here, have a trained person to take care of the kids 9 to 5, and you attend the conference, and all of a sudden it solves 2 problems. Like two birds with one stone. I don't know if I say it right.
Yeah.
I think the problem is that a lot of events doesn't have the financial capability of running that. But I appreciate that. On the other side, I appreciate conference that really willing to spend that money to provide that as well. So yeah, that's a very very good one, I would say. So maybe we should get like some sponsors
Yeah.
for that. And so yeah, like I think it's really good. I'm thinking the next step would be having pet sitters for pet owners. I always think that like because I used to go to the conference a lot, and I was like, I really want to incorporate that in my career. So like I'm thinking, well, if I have a pet, and like for example if I have a dog, and I would be like, like I can't really bring the dog to the conference. I mean, like I can get the dog a passport, I can probably go to Europe fine with my dog, but when I go to the conference, then what about the dog, right? So it doesn't work that way. So yeah. So maybe that's the next step. So
I think we have a lot of ground to cover on that regard still, because like there's still some hotels that you go to conferences in and don't have a proper place for people to change baby diapers.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like that's even more basic than the daycare is somewhere for you to be able to just like keep your baby clean. And there's still a lot of conferences that are not thinking about that. So we still have a lot of like a long way to go. But I'm glad that there are places and there are conferences that are actually thinking about implementing those things, because they're very important and they do help building inclusivity on the community for sure.
And PyCon UK is lovely. PyCon UK is lovely. They not just have the cash for like younger kids. They also have like a stand that is for like older child, like maybe 7, 8 years old. They could run around in the conference, like we don't mind them. And like I remember Danielle saying like, be careful, don't bang the door because there may be a kid behind you and all this stuff.
Yeah.
and they just run around. I love it. I totally love it. Some of the kids are very talented. They are like they are actually smarter than us sometimes. When you talk to them, and we have a booth to entertain them as well. It's like okay, that's really really cool. So
When they do the show and tell, one year they did a show and tell with microbeats.
Yeah.
And I was saying that, how did you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have
That's amazing.
a day. I think it's a Saturday, which is they have children and educators, and they run all these events.
Yeah. Next year you should come, Lace. Next year.
Yeah,
I will.
definitely.
Yes, absolutely.
And then there is
I'm
the
just-
pub.
Yeah.
And then there is the pub. There is the beer in the pub. Absolutely. That's sacred. Don't you worry.
Yeah, the best part of the conference, the pub. I'm just joking here. Okay.
Keynotes love you, Chuck, don't they? Keynote speakers absolutely love you.
As I grow older, I can't drink a lot. So to continue Cherry's joke, I brought the better half with me at the pub. And they know Glenn, they hang out together. So I introduced my better half to other people and said, that's my better half. Like, wait, not Glenn?
Yeah. I don't know how people mistaken. Obviously, like if people know that like the interaction between you and Glenn is more like brother and sisters, or like really, really like couple that doesn't work, Like, so it can't be your other half. So, but I've met your the real other half, anyways. I know
The real other half.
Yeah, the real other half.
There's not Glenn. There's not Glenn.
That's not Glenn. Yeah, that's
Okay.
Not Glenn. No.
no. So yeah, like I think this is the last thing I gotta talk about. So, do you have any Python goal this year? Like thing that you want to achieve?
I have two goals. One is to finish the book.
Oh yeah,
Finish reading it.
that's actually I'm like saying that's actually Ian showed that like a few weeks ago. So.
Yeah, that's that's it. That's what Ian's book. And currently, I will share my progress with you. I'm on page 8.
Okay, you still got like more than half a year, so that's fine.
I have 400 and some pages to go. So yeah, that's an ambitious goal because I want to go to read this book properly. And I started taking notes and highlighting things that I like. I was like, oh, that's pretty useful. And I managed to get to page 8. It's packed with knowledge so far. And my other project is trying to build an artificial intelligence planner in Python. So I want to have an artificial intelligence planner and have a small domain/problem writing library. And I will start this because there is work already done. It's not me doing something that hasn't been done before. There's been a lot in Markov decision process and in Markov chains. And I want to continue with preference-based planning. I have to do more research on that, but that's the basic idea. And this is until October because then academic year starts and I will have to attend classes online.
Yeah, I don't know how you can handle that. Like for me, I would love to, go back to school and to learn more cool stuff, because all this machine learning and like all this AI stuff, I'm really interested, and robotic as well. I think like if it was like more like a hype thing when I was in school, then I could maybe go for that path, but I didn't. I go for physics. So, and maybe I should study quantum computing. I don't know, but I always want to go back to school, but like I just can't. I'm like too busy with other things. So maybe someday when I'm 50 years old and when I'm retired, maybe I'll go back to school. But yeah, I think like that's really cool that you're still studying, like on top of like you already know so many things. You'll be like, how many things you still like want to put it in your brain?
It's me not knowing some things because I'm studying artificial intelligence and it's something that I don't know. And when you see things at the market, they're quite basic and explanatory, or they were really advanced. There is not middle ground. And I hope that at the university I can go from being a beginner, because I am, I can classify my knowledge properly, because when you know bits and bobs, you have to connect them together and put this knowledge into perspective and reach a good foundation level when I can attend expert talks and events. So that's my plan. It's trying to sort out the mess in my head about artificial intelligence. So I'm still learning. And it's okay. I broke the masters into 3 years. It's a 1 year masters. So I extended as much as I can because I couldn't otherwise. So it's not as bad time-wise. Talk to me again in a year and this statement might change.
Yeah.
I think 2 years. I think in 2 years you're going to be like, I got to write that thesis. I got to write that thesis.
I finished year 1 now. So in 2 years I will have to write the thesis. I don't know what to write.
Yeah, like I can imagine if like I break 1 year master in the 3 years, what happened would be like the first 2 years I kind of like so, and then the last year would be like, oh, thesis, God, can I have 2 more years?
Yeah, it will be something like, okay, beautiful soup to the rescue.
Yeah, you can do that. And now you can like kind of you can spin up all the crowd instance, so you can do it like with more power as well.
I hope my supervisor is not listening. I promise I do real work.
Right. This is live, but this gets recorded. By the way, you're doomed now.
I'll change the subject.
Yeah, we have like people don't know like what is a joke, what's real here, because like it's like we are just an entertainment program. Come on, okay. So right, and now I think we should end our program with the PyPI highlight. So I think, well, Dani, if you want, you can talk about Beautiful Soup afterwards, but I want to show mine to you, actually, if I could. So just 1 second, let me do some maneuver. So Lace was the one that you talked about. Actually, like I've lost in my the windows again.
Okay, no, that's fine. So I actually chose mine because I wanted to show it to you, Chuck. So I think it's quite interesting that you chose yours because you wanted to show yours to Dani, because we're doing a cycle here.
Okay, so I gotta show mine first then, like just 1 second. Okay, so how am I gonna do this? And I know how to do this. Do this. Okay, cool. So I like, this is not something new. Pre-commit, a lot of people know about pre-commit, and I want to try. Well, it's fine to not know about it because I only know about it recently. I haven't used it before, so I want to try using it in my project. So I can force my colleague to do the linting before they commit. Yay, more linting! So yeah, and so yeah, this is too small, I know. And what it does is that when you install it, and then you could actually add this. not here, not here. Oh yeah, add this YAML file there, and then what it would do is it will run black before you commit for this one. So you can also put other stuff here. You can put fig 8. You can put all your linter here. So they're forced to forced to do that like before they commit. So which is super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't like cleaning up codes. Like so, it's like if it's your own code, please clean it up yourself.
Clean up your mess before you commit. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like cleaning code because it calms me down. It's the point where you're like, everything is done, everything is working. Now I'm going to clean the mess and I'm going to listen to my podcast and do the cleaning while do work still, just in case, again, any supervisors are listening. I promise I'm nice. But when you don't have time, which is the case, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, right. So Lace project is not loading for some reason. HTTP
Ooh.
runner. They
Yes.
spelled it wrong or right, or what happened?
I don't know.
Was they called HTTP runner? I was just put it in PyPI, Yeah, this one.
Oh, perfect. Cool. So, HTTP runner is basically a testing framework for HTTP and HTTPS. So
Right.
I was watching your Python 0 to Hero on testing, and that you continue to do testing editions, and I'm loving it because it's my first contact with testing. And I was talking to someone else about Python in networking, and we're discussing then like what would be the best library to use to test HTTPS requests, test your networking Python code. What would be the best library to do that? Then I found HTTP runner, and what I thought that was interesting about it is that so it handles errors like in a very human way. So the messages are quite easy to understand, the error logs. And you can also embed some other testing libraries on it. So you can do PyTest, PyDantic, and some other testing frameworks and test everything kind of together. I couldn't figure out how to use it embedding everything else because again I'm a newbie on testing and I've been following Chuck's tutorials for it. But it seems quite interesting, and I read as well like some really good feedback online on people saying that it's quite useful. So,
yeah. And it's the funny is like there's more Chinese at the end of the README. I think like last week, cause like I show you like a GitHub repo that like a bunch of Chinese on it. So I don't know, cause I think that like from the GitHub statistic for last year, there's like a lot of Chinese contributor like in the recent years. So yeah, maybe that's why there's a lot of Chinese staff there. Right. So Dani, do you have anything in your mind I could put it up for you, or is it okay that you don't have anything at the moment? That's fine.
Any libraries?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If not, that's fine. Because like we didn't ask you to prepare.
That's all right. I'll just say that I'm trying to learn GeoPandas, how to use them properly.
GeoPandas, yes.
Yes, because in my old job I was doing geospatial data science, and it's something quite new-ish for me. And my issue was that I had to have a Google API to get the postcodes for some addresses that I was using infographics for. And now I'm trying to understand GeoPandas better. It's mostly like in the comprehension stage, so I don't have any projects running with it. So yeah. It's for geospatial information, maps, data analysis.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool one. That's good. And so I think that's almost at the end of our program. Anything else you want to tell our viewers, or anything? So like for me, the last thing I want to say is I really thank you so much, Dani, for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, and it's really interesting the thing that you talk about. I think it's really good. And
thank you.
Yeah, so anything, Lace, that you want to?
I would like to say thank you as well for sharing your journey, especially your Python journey, because it kind of reminds me of my journey with Python as well, because I started looking at Python when I was my first year in engineering. We started, like all my colleagues started with Fortran. I decided to go. I decided to like kind of just leave it and try to use Wolfram and Maya instead with Mathematica to do those exact things. Yeah, and then I got introduced to yes.
Yeah, we
And
had
then
the choice as well, Wolfram or I went to uni 2002, shows my age now, but we had Maple. That's how we had uni. It was either Maple, which was something like a Mathematica, Wolfram Mathematica, or Fortran, and the professor was like, "Yeah, I recommend Fortran." I'm like, okay, then.
Okay, so yeah,
But yeah.
my teacher recommended Wolfram because he was like, "Wow, everything is on the browser, so you can just use the internet." Blah blah blah. I was like, "Okay, no problem," but it was too complex for what I was trying to do at the moment. And then I went for Python, and it was the best decision I've made in life. So yeah, and I was doing civil engineering as well.
Oh,
So
wow.
yes, so when you're talking about the soil and the vibrations, I was like, this sounds very interesting. So I will make sure I get that day off to understand what you're trying to say in the beginning of the interview.
It's taking a day off because I can't stop talking. It's not that it's difficult. It's that's why my Twitter handle is Dani Quiet now, because it's like, oh, it's Python and engineering, yes. So that's it. It's that.
Yeah.
And people are too polite to tell me sometimes, okay, Dani, now park it. We're going to do something else. No, I have to tell you everything I know. So
I think that's good. Like, I think, yeah, if you see Dani in the pub, if you want to talk to her, talk about Python and, engineering, and she would tell you everything. Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind then.
Have
So,
have an emergency phone call handy. Like, I have to really go.
Okay, so I think, so Dani, do you have anything to say?
No, other than thanking you again for the invite and for all the good work you do to bring awareness to the community about the new Python projects and doing this amazing tutorial. I watched part of it, Python 0 to Hero. It's really brilliant. Thank you so much, both.
Yeah, so I think, yeah, we need to stay safe and have a good week, and we'll talk to you all very soon. So thank you for watching, and bye.
bye bye.
Bye.
See you next week.
Bye.